All right, traders, good morning, August 6th, 2024. You can see the pre-market watch list, and the market sold off pretty majorly yesterday, didn't it? The sell-off continued on Monday amid concerns over the state of the U.S. economy. Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 2.6% to close the session at 38,703, and the S&P moved 3% lower to 5,186. This marked the biggest losses for both indexes since, right during that COVID era, September 2022. So a lot of fear out there. Not only that, the jobs growth was slowing down majorly. There's a lot of fear out there. World War III imminent. Lots and lots of fear. And what do we know when fear introduces itself into the market? That's when you get greedy. Let's take a look at this chart right here. When do most traders buy and when do most traders sell? Most traders buy into the thrill and euphoria. Most traders sell into the panic, fear, and capitulation. Where do we want to buy? We want to buy into that scariness, into that fear. Some may ponder, is this just the beginning of the fear, though? Potentially. We're going to dive into that a little bit this morning. So let's get into it. All right, traders, good morning. Here's a CNBC morning squawk. Some people are blaming the Fed. They said the Fed should have kind of lowered the interest rates instead of maintaining the steadiness of them, keeping them stable. There's a lot of uncertainty out there and a lot of volatility. If you've been looking around at some of these tickers, there is a ton of volatility out there in the market. SPY's just kind of, it dropped a decent chunk and now it's been stabilizing, going sideways. We'll see how today's going to open on up on our leading gapper this morning, as you guys saw from the morning watch list, was TENX. Now, what's going on with TENX? Let's pull up the watch list. TNX. This is a very tiny float. 1.84 million public float. 10X Therapeutics announces an oversubscribed $100 million private placement. So they're raising a lot of money right now. Let's dive a little deeper. The private placement was led by the new investor BVF Partners LP, with participation from other new investors as well, including Vinrock Healthcare Capital Partners, Vivo Capital, Janus Henderson Investors, a large investment management firm, yada, 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 yada. So TNX, what I like about them is they do have blue skies ahead. If we look left of the chart, as we normally do, at the past chart history. All right. What are we sitting at this morning? What, like 528 right now? Well, the only line of resistance, looking at the left of this chart, is pretty much that line up until our next area at 870. This has got that gap down play. The gap down meaning a long time ago, this was roughly a year ago, the stock had a major gap down, and then we just went sideways for roughly a year. So when the stock gets any kind of momentum behind it, and we break through resistance, there's not a whole lot of resistance on this up till 870s, and we know a lot of traders are seeing the same thing here. Not a lot of resistance up until the 870 area from the 520s we're sitting at right now. 520s is going to be a key indicator on TNX, and it's holding right now. What's the hesitation here? Well, the overall market, being bearish, being what it is this morning, a little bearish out there. You guys are aware, not just a little bit. So we're going to be mindful of this one and see what it's going to do. It's not a bad idea just to see how some of these tickers open up this morning to get a feel for the sentiment, to see how the opening bell gives us insight into how the day is going to look. The next ticker, LUMN. LUMN. This one's a fairly large float, despite it moving a decent chunk this morning. 992 million in their public float. What I did like about it, looking at the Yahoo statistics here, was 18%, a little over 18% of the float is short. This is a broadband provider which offers secure fiber connections, which it describes as being AI ready. Well, they recently struck a deal with tech giant Microsoft. Some of you may have heard of Microsoft, which will use Lumen's network equipment for its data centers. We have a few areas of support and resistance on this. 350 being some support. 410, of course, is going to be the after hours resistance, which is try to climb up to a couple times. Right now it's holding the volume weighted average price fairly well. Let's look left of the chart. Even further left of the chart. There we go. Alright, LUMN. LUMN, this one, clear 520 resistance. $6 resistance. Yeah, here's the 20-day chart on LUMN. Doesn't look bad. We had that fast move up through the whole dollar to the 20-cent magic number, 420. That really is a magic number, 420. We got 350 serving as key level support on LUMN. We're kind of U-shaping right now, and after our pre-market, a break up and through that 420 area means we're going to have room to move up until $5. $5, very tough resistance. So you guys are aware, $1, $5, $10 are the most major resistance levels, $1 being the most because stocks have to stay over $1 if they want to be a part of the NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange, or they get delisted to OTC or pink sheets. Not very reputable exchanges. All right, so 420 definitely resistance, LUMN. 350, really, really nice support here. Love to see 350 hold up, LUMN. Lumen is what we're going to call her. Mrs. Lumen. 350 needs to hold up on it. But right now it's showing a sign of health, right? Sideways consolidation, that's what it means. Sign of health on the long side. I kind of like the movement and action on that. The next ticker we want to look at this morning, let's take a look at the watch list. PLTR and then ASTS. PLTR, Palantir, shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q2 earnings and raised its guidance. I also saw there was an analyst upgrade here. 2550 is going to be support. PLTR. Palantir. This stock has been making moves for about a year. Man, this thing was trending at $5. It's got a really nice trend line going on here. Let's draw that out. Well, it attempted to crack it. Yesterday, it really attempted to crack it. But it held up on the 200-day moving average. So PLTR, let's look at this chart. That's why you always got to have these 200-day, 50 days on your daily chart, because this ticker dropped all the way down to that 200-day moving average, 2159. Try to get a little pop back up towards the 50-day. Right now, I don't like this one as much because we're sitting near its ceiling, it feels. We got the 50-day, a lot of overhead resistance around the $25, $26 area. We had to pull this one up. It's getting a little gap up this morning, but a lot of resistance overhead. I feel like where it's just going to be kind of heavy on any pops. So be mindful of that. The last one I wanted to look at was ASTS, because this one, even just yesterday, the company, which is developing a space-based cellular network, it's been getting a lot of hype off of that, said yesterday, the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, the FCC, has granted an initial license that paves the way for the network to provide broadband services for everyday smartphones in the U.S. And since May of this year, the ticker's been climbing off of that news. Now, these satellites they're going to be launching, I believe, are next month in September. And so they have that initial license that they need in order to do that. And they're going to be the Starlinks of space, meaning we're going to get freaking data on our phones via the cellular network anywhere. We don't have to be so close to a cell tower. It's going to be amazing. So that's why it's been getting a lot of hype, as you guys can imagine. Let's look left of the chart, and it's been getting a lot of hype. Since when May it took off, this thing was sitting in the $2 area all the way up towards $21 now in the last couple of weeks. So, of course, this, along with everything else, on Black Monday yesterday, was dumping. But we saw it regain some of that move, and it's been slowly climbing up this morning. It's kind of choppy, I will say. ASTS, a little choppy, a lot of support and resistance lines. Just be familiar with it and know that this ticker every day has been volatile, and with volatility comes opportunity. With opportunity comes money. When stocks are going sideways, no opportunity to make money. Whether on the long or short side, you can make money when you have that volatility. And we're seeing that with ASTS this morning. So that's the watch list, guys. TNX, Lumen, PLTR, ASTS. I like Lumen. I like that it's a little bit larger of a float. Might be one of my favorites this morning because of the 18% short interest in it as well. It's fairly heavy on the short side, and support is being respected in the 350s. So regardless that this is a slow mover, it does have a nice past chart history on it. 420 needs to break that, and then we got kind of clear skies ahead to the next level of resistance, which is going to be up there towards $5. So traders, any questions about this watch list before the market opens on up? I can pop it back up for you so you can get an idea of the watch list. LUMN's probably my favorite chart pattern. We need sustained momentum on it. We could see a little bit of a short squeeze. When you get close to that 20% mark on the short percent of the float, that's when you can see short squeezes. We saw that with AMC. We saw that with GME. GME was more like 100% of their float was short, and that's why it had made the move that it did. But it inevitably, there we go, creates buying momentum because shorts have to cover, which is buying, and then additionally, you have a good PR and you have other long-term investors or day traders coming into it, so it creates that, gives it that upward momentum that it needs to break out past really strong resistance areas. 420 definitely will be, in $5. I could see LUMN once it's got the clear skies ahead after that. I mean, look what this ticker did last Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. Look what it did last Tuesday, guys. $2 up to $3.40. Despite it being as large of a float that it is, that probably had to do with the short percent of the interest as well. That was a really nice move. Can we do that again today? Well, we already made decent move in after hours yesterday from 264. We'll see. Might have some shorts trapped, and we might could get a move like that. Probably my next favorite. TNX. I mean, it is a very low flow. I don't think I'm going to get involved here, but I do like the past chart history. Over $5. This ticker does have room to move up past 8. So TNX is fighting that, support resistance line at the $5 right now. Really needs to maintain that. It's not bad that this thing is selling off some profit taking right now. When tickers just go straight up, no profit taking at all, it kind of kills the move. The faster that move is, the weaker the trend is going to be. And when you go straight up, and then the market opens on up, and you go straight up again, usually we can see those rip and dips out of the gate a lot more frequently when the move is a little steadier and you see some profit taking. in pre-market. And then, of course, the ASTS, I think there's some decent volatility there. There's some opportunity off of the support resistance, PLTR, that one as well. So Lumen's my favorite. We'll see what's going to happen at the market open. Is there any tickers you guys want me to look at before we wrap her up and we go live here in 5-6 minutes when the market opens on up? I'm going to throw up the watch list again for you traders to take a look at before the opening bell. All right, traders, that is the watch list. Best of luck to you, the market open, and we'll see you tomorrow.